Imagine this: you are standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind howling around you, the sky fractured with streaks of crimson and indigo. Below, the sea churns, indifferent and eternal. You close your eyes, feeling the weight of something far greater than gravity pressing upon you. Not fear, not regret, but a question so vast it threatens to consume you whole. What if the thing you have always sought, the thing you have chased through lifetimes of longing and heartbreak, is not salvation, but destruction? What if the very force that makes you feel most alive is also the one that will end you? You open your eyes and see them, standing across from you, just as they always have been. The person you love, their presence is warmth in the cold, light in the endless dark, and yet, as you look into their face, you feel something else stir beneath the surface of your soul. A whisper, a terrible, undeniable truth. Love is not what you thought it was. It is not gentle, not safe, not kind. It is a slow unraveling, a surrender so complete that when it is gone, you will no longer recognize yourself. Franz Kafka once said, "Death comes in many forms, but the form of love is surprising." And therein lies the paradox that has haunted humanity since the first heart ever broke. Love is supposed to be life, is it not? The very essence of creation, of connection, of meaning itself. We are taught that love is the answer, the salvation, the miracle that makes suffering bearable. And yet, Kafka suggests otherwise. He tells us that death wears the face of love, that the thing we reach for in our most desperate moments might be the very thing that undoes us. Think of the lovers who have destroyed themselves for love, the ones who gave up everything, family, freedom, even their own lives, for the promise of something greater. They believed they were chasing eternity, but in the end, they found only ruin. Was it worth it? Was the ecstasy of that fleeting connection enough to justify the collapse of everything else? Or were they merely victims of a deception so profound that they never saw it coming? And what of those who never found love at all? Are they spared, or merely left to wonder what they missed? To live without love is to live in silence, in a world drained of color and depth. But to love, to truly love, is to risk annihilation. So where does that leave you? Trapped between two impossible choices: to remain alone and intact, or to surrender yourself completely, knowing that in doing so, you may lose yourself entirely. Consider the moment when love becomes unbearable, when the joy it brings is so intense that it frightens you, when you realize that you have given away your power, your sense of self, and there is no way to take it back. You begin to see the cracks forming, not in the relationship, but in your own soul. You feel yourself slipping, dissolving, becoming something unrecognizable. And still, you cannot let go, because love, in its truest form, is not a choice. It is a force, and forces do not ask for permission. So ask yourself, if love is death in disguise, then why do we chase it so desperately? Why do we write poems about it, die for it, build entire civilizations around its promise? Is it because we crave the end? Or is it because we believe, despite all evidence to the contrary, that love can somehow save us from death, that in its embrace, we will find something eternal? The wind howls again, and you take a step forward. The abyss waits, and somewhere inside you, a voice whispers, maybe this is what it means to truly live. What if the reason we chase love so desperately has nothing to do with love itself? What if our obsession is not with connection, passion, or devotion, but with the illusion of control over the one force we cannot escape: death? This is the hidden problem, the unspoken truth lurking beneath every kiss, every whispered promise, every heartbreak. Love does not simply bring us closer to another. It forces us to confront the abyss within ourselves. And in doing so, it reveals a terrifying truth. We are not who we think we are. Carl Jung understood this. He spoke of the shadow self, the part of us we deny, suppress, or refuse to acknowledge. It is the darkness we carry, the wounds we hide, the desires we fear. And what is love, if not the mirror that forces us to face this shadow? When we fall in love, we believe we are opening ourselves to another. But in reality, we are opening a door we cannot close. We invite the other to see us. Not just the curated version we present to the world, but the raw, fractured self that lurks beneath. And when they look upon us, truly look, we are forced to see ourselves as we truly are. This is why love terrifies us. Because in its presence, we cannot hide. We cannot maintain the illusion of control. We cannot pretend we are whole when we are not. Love strips us bare, and in that moment of exposure, we are vulnerable in a way we have never been before. It is not just the fear of rejection that haunts us. It is the fear of self-discovery. Friedrich Nietzsche saw this too. He wrote that he who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. Love, in its purest form, is flight. It is transcendence. But to reach that state, we must first fall. We must surrender to the chaos within us, to the uncertainty of existence, to the knowledge that we are fragile, fleeting, and ultimately alone. And that is a truth most are unwilling to face. Arthur Schopenhauer, ever the cynic, argued that love is not about connection at all, but about the survival of the species. He believed that we are driven by a metaphysical hunger, an unconscious desire to create offspring who might somehow embody the perfection we seek, but can never attain. In his view, love is not a noble emotion, but a biological trick, a deception played upon us by evolution itself. We believe we are choosing our partners for love, but in reality, we are merely fulfilling the will of life, the desperate, mindless drive toward continuation. And yet, even if Schopenhauer is right, even if love is nothing more than a biological imperative, does that make it any less powerful? Does it make the pain of heartbreak any less real? Does it erase the moment when you look into someone's eyes and feel something so vast, so infinite, that it threatens to consume you? Aldous Huxley saw love as a dangerous intoxicant, a drug more potent than any man-made substance. In Brave New World, he depicted a society that had eliminated love entirely, replacing it with casual sex and artificial happiness. Why? Because love is disruptive. It is uncontrollable. It is the one force that cannot be regulated, predicted, or contained. And in a world that seeks to manage every aspect of human existence, love is a threat. Jean-Paul Sartre, ever the existentialist, took it even further. He believed that love is not about unity, but about possession. That when we say, "I love you," we are not offering ourselves. We are attempting to claim the other, to bind them to us, to make them ours. But in doing so, we strip them of their freedom, their autonomy. And thus, love becomes a battleground, a war of wills in which neither side can truly win. And what of Viktor Frankl, who endured the horrors of the Holocaust and still insisted that love is the ultimate meaning of life? He wrote that love is the ultimate and highest goal to which man can aspire. But even he did not ignore the cost. He understood that love is not easy. It is not safe. It is not a guarantee of happiness. It is, above all, a choice to face the abyss together, to hold hands at the edge of the cliff, to jump, knowing that you may never land. So where does that leave us? With a paradox that cannot be resolved, a truth that cannot be denied. Love is both salvation and destruction. It is the thing that makes life worth living and the thing that makes death inevitable. And yet, despite all of this, we still chase it. We still throw ourselves into its arms, knowing full well that it may crush us. Why? Because to love is to be truly alive. even if it kills us. What happens when you give yourself to love? Completely, irrevocably. You believe you are giving your heart, your soul, your devotion. But in truth, you are surrendering something far more insidious: control. Not just control over your emotions, but over your perception of reality itself. Love does not simply alter your feelings. It rewires your brain, reshapes your thoughts, and distorts your sense of self. And the most terrifying part? You don't even realize it's happening. Neuroscience tells us that romantic love activates the same reward pathways in the brain as addiction. Dopamine floods your system, creating a high so intense that logic, reason, and self-preservation dissolve in its wake. You become addicted to the presence of the other, to their touch, their voice, their very existence. And when they are absent, you suffer withdrawal, not just emotionally, but physically. Your body aches, your mind races. You become a stranger to yourself, chasing the next hit, the next moment of closeness, the next illusion of wholeness. But here's the catch. Addiction is not just about craving, it's about fear. The fear of loss, the fear of emptiness, the fear of facing life without the thing that made it bearable. And that fear, once ignited, does not go away. It lingers in the background, whispering doubts, planting seeds of paranoia, convincing you that without love, you are nothing. That if you lose this person, you will never find another. That if you let go, you will never feel whole again. This is the unseen consequence of love. It teaches you to fear yourself, because love does not just change your relationship with the other. It changes your relationship with yourself. You begin to measure your worth by their gaze, your happiness by their approval, your identity by their presence. You become dependent, not just emotionally, but existentially. And when love ends, whether through betrayal, abandonment, or death, you are left with a void so vast, so absolute, that you no longer recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. And yet, the consequences do not stop there. Because the fear of loss does not merely haunt you in your personal relationships. It seeps into every aspect of your life. It makes you cautious, hesitant, unwilling to take risks. It makes you cling to stability, even when it suffocates you. It makes you choose safety over passion, security over truth, routine over revelation. You begin to live not for the things that make you feel alive, but for the things that keep you from falling apart. Cultural conditioning reinforces this silent trap. Society tells you that love is the ultimate goal, that finding the one will complete you, that happiness is found in partnership. But it does not warn you of the cost. It does not tell you that love, in its purest form, is a surrender of self. It does not tell you that the more you give, the more you risk losing. It does not tell you that the person you love may one day become the thing you fear most. And so you remain trapped, caught in a cycle of longing and fear, chasing the next high, the next connection, the next illusion of control. You fall in love again and again, hoping each time that this one will be different, that this one will not hurt you, that this one will not leave. But the pattern repeats itself. Because the problem was never the other, it was always you. Because love, in the end, is not about the other. It is about what you are willing to endure to feel whole. It is about the lies you tell yourself to believe that you are worthy of being loved. It is about the fear that without love, you are not enough. And that fear, that silent, insidious fear, is the true enemy, because it keeps you from living freely. It keeps you from loving without condition. It keeps you from being yourself. So ask yourself, are you truly in love? Or are you simply afraid of what happens when it ends? Because if you cannot answer that question, if you do not know where love ends and fear begins, then you are already lost. There is a moment, just before the fall, when you realize that you are not afraid of love itself. You are afraid of what it reveals, of the truth it forces you to confront, and in that moment, you are given a choice. Continue running from yourself, or finally turn and face what you have been trying to outrun all along. This is the rebellion, not against love, not against the other, but against the illusion that love must destroy you. Because the truth, the radical, almost blasphemous truth, is this: love does not have to consume you. It does not have to be your undoing. It does not have to be the thing that breaks you. To understand this, you must first unlearn everything you have been told. You must stop seeing love as salvation. Stop believing that it is the only thing that gives your life meaning. You must stop thinking that without love, you are incomplete, because the reality is far more terrifying and far more liberating than that. You were never meant to be completed by another. You were meant to be whole on your own. This idea may feel like heresy, especially in a world that glorifies romantic love above all else. But history is filled with those who understood this truth long before you. Consider Rumi, the great Persian poet and mystic, who wrote, "Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along." He did not speak of romantic love in the way we understand it today. He spoke of a deeper, more profound connection, one that exists not between two people, but within the self. Love, according to Rumi, is not something you find. It is something you awaken within yourself. Or take Schopenhauer, who, despite his bleak views on love, recognized that the only true freedom comes from detachment. He saw that the illusion of love is what binds us, that the moment we believe we need another to be whole, we become prisoners of our own desires. He did not advocate for the rejection of love, but for the understanding that love, in its truest form, cannot be possessed. It must be experienced without expectation, without demand, without the need for control. Even Nietzsche, the philosopher who warned us of the dangers of surrender, understood that love could be a source of strength rather than destruction. He believed that the highest form of love, the kind that does not consume but elevates, is born from self-mastery. One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star, he wrote. In other words, to love without being destroyed by it, you must first embrace the chaos within you. You must accept that love will change you, but that it does not have to erase you. So how do you break free? How do you reclaim yourself from the pull of love's gravitational force? The answer lies in a radical shift in perspective. You must stop seeing love as something that happens to you and start seeing it as something you choose. Not just once, but every single day. You must stop believing that love is a destination and start understanding that it is a practice, a way of being, a way of seeing, a way of living. This means learning to love without losing yourself. It means setting boundaries, not as barriers, but as acts of self-respect. It means recognizing that love does not require sacrifice, only honesty. It means understanding that the most important relationship you will ever have is not with another person, but with yourself. It also means allowing love to be what it truly is, impermanent. This is perhaps the most difficult realization of all, because we are taught to believe that true love is eternal, that if it fades, it was never real. But what if the opposite is true? What if love is real precisely because it is fleeting? What if the beauty of love lies not in its permanence, but in its transience? Think of the seasons. Spring does not last forever, but that does not make it any less beautiful. Summer does not remain, but that does not make it any less real. And love, true love, is the same. It comes, it changes you, it leaves its mark, and then it goes. And in its absence, you are not broken. You are transformed. This is the rebellion. Not against love, but against the idea that love must define you. It is the choice to love without fear, to love without losing yourself, To love without expecting love to save you. Because the truth is, love was never meant to save you. It was meant to reveal you. And once you understand that, you are free. You stand at the precipice of understanding, staring into the abyss where love and death intertwine. You have unraveled the illusions, confronted the fears, and reclaimed yourself from the gravitational pull of surrender. And now, at the threshold of revelation, you are faced with the final truth, the one that redefines everything you have ever known about love, life, and the inevitability of death. Love does not kill you. No, that is not the truth. Love does not kill you, but death is what makes love real. This is the paradox Kafka understood, the secret buried beneath centuries of poetry and longing. Love is not death in disguise. Love is life, made vivid and undeniable by the certainty of death. Without death, love would be meaningless. Without death, love would be nothing more than a hollow echo, a word without weight, an emotion without consequence. Think of the moments that define love. Not the grand declarations, not the sweeping gestures, but the quiet, fleeting seconds that etch themselves into your soul. The way their eyes soften when they think you are not looking. The way their laughter lingers in the air long after they have stopped speaking. The way their absence feels like a missing limb, like a piece of your body has been carved away. These moments are precious not because they last, but because they do not, because they are finite, because they vanish. And in vanishing, they leave behind something irreplaceable. Without death, love would have no urgency. Without death, love would have no depth. Without death, love would be nothing more than a passing breeze, unnoticed and unremarked. This is the final, most powerful realization. Love exists because death exists. They are not enemies. They are not opposites. They are not even separate. They are one and the same. Love is the light that burns brightest in the shadow of death. Love is the heartbeat that reminds you you are alive, even as you know you will one day stop breathing. And so, you must stop fearing love. Not because it is harmless, not because it will never break you, but because it is meant to. Love is meant to change you. Love is meant to shake you to your core. Love is meant to remind you that you are mortal, that you are fragile, that you are here for only a short time, and that in this fleeting existence, you are capable of feeling something so vast, so infinite that it terrifies you. This is not a curse. This is a gift. You are not meant to escape love unscathed. You are meant to be transformed by it. You are meant to carry its scars, to wear its wounds like proof that you lived, that you dared to feel, that you did not retreat into the safety of numbness. You are meant to love not in spite of death, but because of it. Because without death, love would be a dream you never wake from. Without death, love would be a song without a melody. Without death, love would be nothing at all. So do not run from love. Do not fear its power. Do not try to control it, contain it, or make it fit into the neat little boxes society has built around it. Let love be what it is, a force, a storm, a fire that consumes and renews. Let it burn you. Let it shape you. Let it leave you altered in ways you cannot predict. And when it ends, as all things must, do not mourn its passing. Do not curse its cruelty or lament its impermanence. Instead, let it remind you of what matters most. Let it remind you that you are here, now, alive in this moment, and that you have the capacity to love and to be loved, because that is the ultimate truth. That is the final realization. That is the secret Kafka whispered to the world, hidden in a single, deceptively simple sentence. Death comes in many forms, but the form of love is surprising. Not because love is death, not because love kills, but because love, in its truest form, is the only thing that makes death bearable. And in that, love is not a trap, it is the only escape. Comment below. What if the love you chase is not a destination, but a mirror, a reflection of the truths you fear to face? Share your story. When did love reveal the edges of your own soul? What did it cost you to see yourself? Subscribe now. This journey does not end at the cliff's edge. If Kafka's paradox has unsettled you, if the dance between love and death haunts you still, then step deeper into the storm. Subscribe to uncover the hidden forces that shape our existence, the lies we cling to, the truths we avoid, and the liberation waiting beyond both. The abyss is not silent. It speaks in whispers. Listen, because some revelations demand to be felt, not just read.